Hello, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. We are jumping into a cube draft, best of 3 on MTG Arena chat. Say hello to YouTube. I'm Travis Semulin Sowers. And if you'd like to watch the drafting live, get involved in some chaos drafts in the future, hang out with some cool people, you can stop by the stream at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. There's always one person that doesn't want to click ready, and then they do. So for YouTube's reference, I've done 2 cube drafts today where I was just kind of doing goofy stuff, and we ended up getting O2s, which was not really satisfying. So I'm in a mindset where I'd like to draft something powerful and win the video game. I don't know that I necessarily have that option here. Well, by powerful, what I really was thinking was aggressive. Like, I would have been happy with a 1-mana 2/1 here, but we didn't get that, so we may need to go in a different direction. And we can still be open to doing something aggressive. I think on its own, the most fun card here is probably the Thief of Sanity. I could see trying to build around the Electromancer, but I feel like the red spells are so good that everybody's gobbling them up. Well, 3-mana 5/5 is pretty good too, but I don't think green is able to... Green aggro is not really supported from what I've seen. But I think Thief of Sanity's fun. We can go with that. The hinge is in the cube. Now this is suggesting to me that we could flex in a different direction and try that heroic reinforcements. Did you really limestone? I haven't been able to pull that one off yet. Yeah, the mythos is reasonable too. So here we need to decide which direction we'd like to go, and we need to decide relatively quickly. Because there's a heroic reinforcements, which I'm kind of interested in. What would the pick be if it wasn't that? I guess Thassa's Intervention? You're talking about the Wayward Swordtooth or whatever. I think I'm in the mood to do something aggressive if I can get away with it. Let's see if I can get away with it. If I can't, I'll move along with my life. All right. Now we're kind of talking. We could move back into the blue-black plan with the Crypt Breaker or the Blood Chief's Thirst. And just kind of let the aggressive stuff go if we want to. Fauna Shaman's pretty interesting. Scavenging Ooze is pretty interesting. But I think I'm interested in Crypt Breaking. So maybe okay. I know where we're going, and it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun time. So at least black. I have had a lot of fun with Priest of the Forgotten Gods in this cube. Which I don't think I really have any business having as much fun as I have. But you can get some good stuff out of that. So the trick here is we don't have to be blue. I don't particularly love the Rotting Regisaur. It's not a bad card, but it's not one that I like. I'm considering Devil's Play as a possible, like, Grixis shenanigans. And Black-Red really does play nicely with the Sacrifice. I'm going to be open to Black-Red at the very least. And it looks like we could probably do that. There's a Gutter Bones, which is pretty nice to be sacrificed. Maze Mind Tome is nice for drawing cards. Daredevil is nice. But I think I like having these 2 removal spells, and then I'll try to set myself up for sacrifice effects from there. So we're probably looking at Rakdos, which is interesting. Abrade is a very good removal spell. I mean, there's a possibility we're about to get into mono red splash heroic reinforcements, huh? I'd really rather be doing this, but if this is what's open, I'll take it. You can bring this guy back from the graveyard, right? Yeah, you have to basically have no cards in your hand, but that's kind of okay. Plaguecrafter's nice, Epic Downfall is nice for killing big things, but I really want to try to get into this sacrifice deck. We haven't seen any red creatures, but I don't need a lot of red creatures. There's a possibility we could Mardu things. I'm willing to look at Marduing things. The mana needs to get a lot better than it is right now, but it could. So dual caster with what? Dual caster with these two cards is at least interesting? Maybe? The mana's not really coming for me to consider this, but that's okay. Yeah, it would kill our stuff, but it gives us an out to other things too. Because like if we were Marduing things, I could play this reinforcement. I'm kind of thinking about trying to get into like a Mardu tokens deck. There's a possibility I'd play that here. Those are just the wrong colors of fixin' for us. It's a really good card, but if we are looking for token things, I could see playing Castle Embreth. Could even be reasonable in the size board. Ironically, Izzet was open after me complaining that it probably wouldn't be. But I have a plan, and I think if you go into a cube draft with a plan, you're doing something. This is a piece of that plan. I'm basically trying to relive my Ikoria fun via cube draft. And there's not a Mardu land here that I would really want. Why wasn't Bushmeat Poacher in this cube? It really should have been. Okay. Okay. So this is part of what we want too. We also want Seinfeld. I may be able to spin him. But yeah. I've got a plan, and it's a plan that I like. It doesn't have anything to do with any of this. It does have something to do with an Inspiring Vantage. I don't know for sure that Mardu Tokens is supported, but I'm very interested in finding out. Because I think I can get the mana this pack and then cross my fingers to get the pieces for it on the next one. This is tough. Because I really want this Godless Shrine, and I really want this Hidden Stockpile. Yeah, I think I'm going to hope that the Stonks wheel. Because if I don't have at least 4 duels for this, I'm not going to be able to pull anything off at all. But like right now, we're currently pretty interested in this Heroic Reinforcements as well. Yes, it is good to invest in Stonks. This could also be a catastrophic failure. I don't know that this is an archetype that's supported here, but I'm very interested in finding out. This only triggers on instants and sorceries, doesn't it? I passed that Chandra pack 1, pick 1 for the Thief of Sanity, and it would have been so good here. This is literally my only shot in a Devolving Wilds. Yeah, I need the 4 duels. Give me a token producer. Ranger fetches 2 things. That's not crazy. But if I take this, my mana is just good, and I don't have to worry about mana ever again. And I like that. Mana's good. We never have to worry about mana. We're going to be fine with the tokens. Because now I have a land that can make tokens too. And because I was a grown-up and took the mana, we're good. Disfigure is a decent, cheap removal spell, although I kind of like the exiling effect of Lava Coil here. I could potentially get a god with that. And I think I'm not interested in any more cards unless they make multiple creatures. Intervention can just win games, but I'm interested in seeing how far I can push synergy here. I don't know that I want the Sacred Cat, but I might. And I don't think we're going to be ramping high enough to want the Palladium Mirror. Knight, meh. Not exactly the droid I'm looking for. That makes me sad. I'm going to take it on principle. That does too. People are doing big things here. I could just play this. Like, it's a solid creature for 4 mana. Stonks wield. Stonks are up. Ancestral Blade is something to do. If we need it, we can play that too. I've been too happy with this out of the size board not to play it. There's a few more token cards I need to find, and I think I've got enough stuff to do with them that we can really be in business. Here's one of them. I really like Bag of Holding. I think Agadeem's Awakening could be very interesting in some decks too. I'm not entirely sure that this is one of them. But anything that's making multiple creatures for one card, we're going to be very interested in. Because we're looking to keep the board clear with the Priest of Forgotten Gods, scry through, find the cards that matter, and then burn somebody out with a Weaponize the Monsters. I think this is kind of perfect for us. Ideally, we'd find some Planeswalker that has a similar effect. Like, I think we could play Elspeth, the Theros Elspeth, pretty happily. Dragon Master Outcast makes tokens. I mean, they're a little bigger than what we're looking for, but I'm not going to complain. Elspeth Conquers Death, Robber of the Rich. This does, interestingly, make Weaponize deal extra damage. Like, I could just put that in the deck and be fine with it. Nice, Raptors. This isn't doing a whole lot for us. I don't think we're in Elspeth Conquers Death deck. I'd like to put Oiva in this. I'm not entirely sure that I can. I'm actually going to play any of this. The Robber probably makes it in there. I think I want to take this and see if we happen to get there on like 2 green duels. Because if we do, that's just yoinks. Am I actually playing enough creatures to do that? I mean, close. Close. This is a way for us to generate some real tokens. It's tough that it's in the same pack as a really good fixer, but this means I can kind of just play like medium creatures and get there. We could also conceivably play good creatures and get there. I'm not opposed to that. Like, if we want something at the top end, that's a fine piece of top end. You're not going to make it in, but you are. Man, if only there... What we really need is like some sort of 5 mana card that comes down and makes a lot of tokens. Can I wield that? Probably don't want to wield that. Yeah, we've ended up more red-white tokens kind of splashing for the other stuff. But I think the mana is good enough for me to get away with it. And I don't need the Oiva now. Yeah, we wanted that whole pack, basically. I could play this too. Like, there's some argument to really cut the black splash down. And I may do that. I'll see. Because we've ended up with a few more playables than I anticipated. I don't think I want the Banneret here. I'm really focusing on like how valuable these 1-drops are going to be if I can't turn 1 them. And I think they're still worth playing. Yeah, this is a deck that's looking to grind. This is not a deck that's looking to be aggressive. It could have an aggressive opening, but I don't think it's looking to be aggressive. This is a way that could close out games potentially, but I think I'm going to take the Marsh in case there's a matchup I want to bring Oiva in on. I shouldn't have anything that I want to protect, but this is still probably better than a Plains. This is non-token? No, it's not non-token. This could do something, although the mana is going to be a little rough to play it. We could also just have a burn spell, but I've already got a Fireball. Don't want any of this. It was open too. I'm pretty sure they count as lands in the graveyard. That's pretty neat. Play that. Yeah, we've ended up with too many playables. Corpse Knight could definitely do something too. So I'm going to see where we can fiddle around here. I'll at least consider the Corpse Knight. Blood Artist would have been great, but we've got a Bastion. Remember? So let's say we're going to pretend to play the Corpse Knight, and maybe we'll actually play the Corpse Knight. I'll fix the mana in a minute. This would mean I need 4 cuts. I don't think I need Pillar of Flame. I'm not entirely sure that I need Devil's Play. I like the flexibility of Tegrity. Sarkhan's not doing a whole lot, that's fair. We can pitch Sarkhan. This Daredevil's fine, but it's not really fitting the theme. And the same could be said for Aurelia. Dualcaster Mage is a sideboard card? Probably, but we've got a lot of interesting things to copy, right? Like 5 mana Lava Coil, 6 mana Start. I mean, it's really unlikely that we're going to 7 mana these two, but I want to play with the Dualcaster Mage. This is going to be an experiment card, and it's probably not great. Yeah, you can copy the opponent's stuff too if you're holding it up, but this deck's going to tap out a lot. Like it's playing a lot of cards at sorcery speed. I probably don't need it though. Like, let's be a grown up. So where does this put our mana? 4, 5, 6 red sources is not enough. 5, 6, 7, 8 black sources is plenty. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white is good. So I think I've got to peel a black to get a red in. This would be 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The Monument's getting there. If it can make 2 tokens, I'm happy with it. It can make 2 tokens. I don't think it's going to be amazing, but I do think it's pointing towards what this deck wants to do, which is really all I'm asking for here. 'Tis the season. This is interesting. I haven't gotten to draft a deck like this in the cube yet. I've said before that you can do whatever you want to do in cube. Looks like if you want to relive your Ikoria Sacrifice decks, you can totally do that. Something like, I don't know, Goblin Fodder would have been nice, and there's a bunch of variants of that we didn't get. But I am very interested to see how this plays out. If it's good, we've identified a new archetype. If it's not, then maybe we had some fun along the way. This is the real value of Oketra's monument. And that if we want to, we can discard it here. I don't think we want to. I don't think I want stonks right now. Stonks are down. How do I feel about that monument? I think I feel pretty good about that monument. I don't know that I necessarily want it here, though. Because that other swamp isn't really doing a whole lot for us. I can cast the entire deck without it, except for... Yeah, I probably need to care about that. And it means I don't have to wait and worry about the land. The only thing I couldn't cast is the Goblin. Mono red is very good in this particular cube. I was assuming he meant got crushed by mono red. That's funny. I can't think of a reason not to have a braid up. We might need it. There's 7 white sources. We're planning to attack next turn and pump with Castle Embrith for lethal. It's like Esper control-y things. Dirtle Stall make an 8/8. I don't know that I care much about an 8/8. We kind of accidentally ended up with the feather combo in here. Dualcaster Mage would be okay here. If I copy their warrant, can I do the Warden side of it? I think I'm interested in trying the Dualcaster, is what I'm getting at. It doesn't look like I really need a braid. But let's trim Aurelia for it. They've got tons of removal. Well, there was a plan with this hand. And it was to draw an untapped white source right now. Let's see if we can do that. I think I would like that very much. They got one. Why can't I have one? Man, this brings back memories. Cast in heroic reinforcements. Oh, good times. It said untapped white source. Well, there's also just nothing better to kill in my deck. I didn't mean for it to be this aggressive, but the draws we've had have been pretty aggressive draws. I can leave up the dual caster or expertise. I think I'd rather just attack first and then potentially play the expertise depending on what they do here. I don't need any more tokens. Could get much better. Sure. Tokens, yo. They good. Who knew? All right, let's get us a Stream Raider battle going. You guys stacked. Good job. If you stack, we usually win these. Can you not even do that? Interesting. I wasn't sure how the dual caster interacted with that. But yeah, if you put the card into play, the SRAM's expertise isn't on the stack anymore. So that isn't a line you could take. That's pretty elite, Adam. There we go. Jay Alora with the kills. Tony the Tiger did great and got us the assists. Scrolls for Thangarth, Dom, Aetherlos, Neuros, and Silence. And I'm going to take a little break and get some more coffee. For YouTube, no time at all will pass, though, through the magic of the pause button. I'll be right back, folks. All right, here we go for round 2. Coffee in hand, ready to adventure. And a ginger ale for good measure. I want to get to some of the more grindier pieces in this stack. Because That's kind of what I had in mind as I was building it. Okay, this could sort of start doing that. What does this do again? I don't even remember. Needs to be red and white, red or white. It's not really going to do anything this round, but it could on the next. And then we've got some extra lands to chunk away. Creature always gets 2/0, but it gets trample and vigilant if it's red and white. Okay. I haven't played with that card enough. Embercleave, huh? Huh. Well, so much for my grindy plan. Embercleave decks don't want to grind. They just want to kill you. So we racing now. Because that's 8 damage coming through. I could currently trade it with Aurelia, which doesn't seem great to me. So they're throwing away the goose to get in the Aurelia, the damage here. Okay, maybe I am on board with that. Hey, that's not a bad draw. I'll hold on to that for you. I get to put counters on stuff too. Holy crap. This is so good. Did we break the format? Auga. It has Mentor too. Why does it even need that? It doesn't. You just don't need it. All right, so it looks like we're mostly interested in killing little things from them. So like Pillar of Lame is actually looking kind of reasonable here. Because I might not need Integrity. I don't know that I want to side in another card to try to beat the Embercleave. I know I don't care about Lightning Strike. Yeah, maybe we want a Pillar of Lame and take Oot. Integrity. It can go face, which is nice, but if we're using it as a removal spell, I don't think it's going to be doing what we're wanting done. I've never been to Cleveland. Only went to Ohio once. I was in Columbus for a little bit. This is the slowest, dirtiest hand I've ever seen. I think I have to mulligan it. I like a lot of what's happening there. Okay, it could get worse. But this one has some plan. which is if we can draw white or red mana, we can do things. Now, I deserve to get punished a little bit for my mana base, and it's okay to lose a game to it. Stonks are not looking really good right now. Stonks are kind of looking actively bad. I am very concerned about our stonks. I'm also not too proud to do what must be done. We have to assume there's white on top and that we just explode next turn. Because if there's not, I think we're losing anyway. Was not expecting Ferocidon, but it can make some sense there, especially as a sideboard card against me. Aha! And yet you damage yourself. This is kind of the worst case scenario, because I've drawn the thing that I sided in to get the little stuff with after killing a little stuff with the stuff that could have done the other thing. They were supposed to play these cards out in a different order, and I was supposed to draw these in a different order. But it didn't work like that, and now we're going to die. I love this hopeful music in the background. We can kill that if we top deck a plains. And there's 7 white sources, so like, it's not unlikely that we'll draw one. We're in fact more likely to draw one than anything else, but there's no guarantee. This is a deck that's going to have to mulligan a little more often than decks I'm used to playing, and the mulligans are going to be worse. That wasn't counted in our list of white sources, but there are at least one that's tapped because there's an Evolving Wilds. And we may be too far behind, but I think we're probably too far behind for that to do the thing. Yeah, this Dead Wanderer is not going to help. All right. It needs a white source and then a good bit else, right? Like, I think we had 1, 2, 3, 4 white sources that could have come into play tapped. There's 6 white sources in the deck, which is questionable, but maybe I should. I thought I had 7 and 7. I think I was supposed to add a plains instead of a mountain. So maybe it is actually my fault. Yeah, the Vantage would have been tapped. But this gives me 6, 6, 6, plus the wilds. Good old Devil's Mana base. They're also a bit, like, sentimental for me, as Mirage was kind of when I really got into Magic. So I got good members from Mirage. This looks a little bit more like what I was wanting to do. Unts, 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 unts. It's free life. Not even going to play around with that. Okay. I can respect that. Do we bolt the bird? I think we bolt the bird. Oh, I cannot do it for one now. I should have attacked first and then played the tap land. The patient rebuilding deck ended with me decking myself. I was drawing 5 cards a turn, which was a lot of fun, but did not end well for me. They're not making that trade. I mean, if you're going to lose, that's a great way to go out, in my opinion. Embercleave is not a great way to go out. But we know that they will scoop when I take it. So as long as I can hit a mana or... yeah, that'll do. We can take one giant hit here, take it, and then they'll give up. So this would be hitting for 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 potentially. So I do need to chump block something here, which is awkward because I'd really like... oh, they're going to just hand it to me. Yeah, I think I have to chump block Emery, which is unfortunate because I'd really like to start getting the dragon tokens. But if we're not getting the dragon tokens, maybe we just let this go. Because land is still a great top deck. Okay, it's a little less good now. That was pretty heroic, and now I think we're dead. I don't want to be dead. I want to be alive! Alright, so this stops 5 of it, but the other 5 is the problem. So we're going to 1. I'm not entirely sure what we're going to do with that. It looks like nothing. It looks like nothing. No, we don't have to chump it because first strike will kill this and trigger the Bastion, so we could go to 1. Like, I'm aware it has trample, that's why I figured we were going to be at 1. But 1 minus 2 is -1. I guess now we've been to Cleveland. I should have had the guts to keep that first hand or mulligan to 5 in round 2. This deck is doing cool things. The mana's good, but not great. But I think everyone can agree that Embercleave is a fair and balanced card. I can't imagine, like, I played that some in Standard. It was sketchy, but reasonable. The problem was I mulliganed into a worse hand and then was scared to mulligan again, which is why I'd never want to mulligan in the first place, because you're not guaranteed a better hand. This is probably one of the better openers we've gotten, for which I celebrate. I'm probably killing this with the Abrade. Let's see where these counters go. Because I can do it with the counters on the stack. I think there's a possibility I'd rather just take the Riskar out now and then untap and kill the Horn Beetle, but this is probably better. I'm going to end up giving him a token, but I think I can get more tokens than they can. I think they could have tapped that to pump itself if they'd wanted to. And I imagine we still play the Outcast here, even though he's not doing a lot. He will. Ones with trample. I like it. Three points of damage, yo. That's really big. And really terrifying. It's 6. 6 lands that we need. And I have no idea how we're getting them. Because they have a 5/5 trample. So we're functionally at 7. I could conceivably try to double block it with these two and then Dragon Fire it. There's enough combat tricks in the Cube that's a little concerning. But I don't know that I can beat this card otherwise, so I may have to. Oh, I can't even block it. Nope. Can't do that either. Alright, that means we're going to take this out. The good news is if they have a combat trick, this will draw it out. The bad news is I don't think they actually have one and we're just going to die. That is sort of the droid we were looking for. I imagine they've got a decent 5-drop to get with that. Okay. That could have gone worse. probably still have to hold here. Everything has trample. I'm not quite there. I will be soon. I can block all of this currently. And take one. I can take one. Yeah, we've kind of achieved inevitability. I guess we're technically taking two here, but you know what I mean? A combat trick would be kind of rough, but... That's what's going to kill me. I think I need to Devil's play this stupid 1-1. Afternoon, Loki. Yeah, we got a little bit of snow. I still don't think I can attack, because that thing's bloody huge. They can put one counter on it this turn, making it an 8-8. Yeah, I don't have attacks. I could have taken the trample enchant. It might have been better to do that, given where our life totals are. But it worked out. The mono green, huh? Iliad's intervention looks better than Integrity. Yeah, they may just not be able to kill anything, which is fine. I hope you crush it, Dom. Rush it. I also think I was supposed to have another white source in this over that, so let's fix that. Oh, this is match 2. Or, wait a minute. I can't remember. This is the third opponent in the second game. I don't know what matches mean anymore. I'm going to keep this, although it's questionable. to say the least. It's at least got good mana, which I approve of. And I can interact with the ramp card. I can't remember what game or match means in the context of Magic half the time. And I can also barely remember what set I'm drafting. Orcish is great people, can confirm. So I think I like just getting this out of the way. What does it need to get? Probably a black source, so I'll have 2 of every color. I don't think I actually had any double blacks, but it's conceivable that we might want to double spell at some point. Yeah, it's the thing with the stuff and the place. That's bad enough that I'd like to not deal with it. I just said if I want to Devils play that. It doesn't super matter. But I think I'd rather it not be here. Oh. I think this strategy could work. I think I might need to focus a little more on the manas if we're going to try to do it consistently. Because that was really the only drawback here, is we lost around basically on the back of Mana Screw. And it wasn't not drawing enough lands, it was drawing the right colors. I kind of did too, but they didn't draw enough lands and scooped. So it is what it is. But I think this is an archetype. We did pass a Triumph. I'm curious how often you could wheel the pieces for this that you need. Because like there's some stuff in here that people will just take because it's good cards and not really fitting the synergy. And I was like mentioning while we were drafting that you can't really get an Izzet deck to work. And then we somehow managed to spin literally all of the Izzet cards in the cube. I think this could be refined and done better because we never really got to see the Stonk Pile do anything. The Sacrifice Engine didn't really get going except for in one game. But I like a lot of what's happening here. That's going to do it for the YouTube draft. I appreciate you guys and gals tuning in on YouTube. Chat, say goodbye to YouTube. And YouTubers, come hang out on the stream sometime. We're at www.twitch.tv/Semulin. Hope y'all have an awesome afternoon.